Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Leilui Nishmas My, Mordechai. Welcome to all the guests. Welcome back. You're official. And we have an Ermin here. What's your name? Elazar Ermin. Mazel tov to the Ermin family here in Chicago. Big chassan this week. We have some nephews all the way from Peretz Yisrael. Gewaldige stuff. So, before I forget, today, Leilui Nishmas Sarah, a 10-year-old girl, Bas David, Chaim Bas David. Okay, here we are. Bezer Hashem, if everything goes as planned, Zalman is in the house. Monday is going to be our last day here in Chicago until the summer. Tomorrow, Bezer Hashem, Shir at 8 p.m. Change of time, 8. There's something going on, I think, after some sort of gathering here in the community, so we decided to do it at 8. Since it's Mos Shabbos, I want to go through some of the musagim that we learned this week and a half. We could skip a little bit further until we get into Ezu Neshech maybe. So just to review, a lot of it is Pashut, a lot of it is not. Ribis Ktutza, it just is a terminology of Ribis Da'iraisa, where you determine the Ribis all the way in advance. Lav Hanita Klasei is sort of like when you steal, you could give it back. Beishas Zagzela, that's a lav, you're not allowed to steal, but if you give it back, you're Mekayim Dasei. Sabasa, anybody that was around a little bit in Ezu Neshech, Sabasa is the borrowing one measurement and giving back the same item, the same measurement is a problem of ribis, because what if the item goes up in value? Then we had a whole sugya of Psika ala Peretz. Psika ala Peretz is a forward contract, which basically you give somebody money and you say, okay, you'll give me the fruit later on in the year. Later on in the year, it could go up in price. So that would be asur for ribis. But if you have one of these two things, one of them is yeshloi. It's kishmak chazar, no? If the seller has it in stock, then he doesn't have to give it to you right now. There's another thing called yotza hashar, where there's a strong market for a day or two, where there's a known price. You can go get this item anywhere for this price, so that's also okay. Haramas ribis is a musag of, looks like ribis, it looks like chametz, mezegi ribis, haramas ribis. And then we learned the famous klal in ribis, which is agar notar, anything that you pay for waiting on the money. You want the money now, but you'll wait a little bit to take the money. If the guy adds a little bit, that's schar for waiting, that is ribis. Then is a lechos we're going to have to go into. Today we're actually going to talk a little bit about this. Mashkanta b'nachyaso means giving a collateral, but you take off. So let's say you give somebody a field as collateral. He goes ahead and takes the fruit off the field. So if you deduct, nachyasa means to deduct from the loan. You take a little bit off the loan, so that could be okay. We'll see. This is a musig that we talked about. I don't know how much we need, but for now, karev lahefsed kamoy l'schar. There's a difference between this and, let's say, karev l'schar v'rochik lahefsed. If you put yourself in a position where you're hardly going to lose, the chances of you losing are very, very small, but the chance of you gaining are large, so that's a big problem of ribis. If it's 50-50, it's less of an issue. Ribis mukdemes is if you give somebody in advance, you pay him off in advance. Let's say you buy him a gift, so he gives you a loan, so you're giving the interest in advance. That's ribis mukdemes. Asmachta, the big sugi that we had the other day, where you promise way more than you. Let's say you tell the guy, I'm going to take $1 million loan, and if I don't pay you back, you get $2 million from me. So that's an asmachta because you're so sure you're going to pay back the loan, $1 million, that you give him this collateral worth $2 million. At the end of the day, you didn't pay back the loan, so the guy wants your $2 million. You say, no, I didn't mean that. Tzad echad beribos, we saw with Rabbi Yehuda, that if there's a very big chance that there's not going to be ribos. Why? Because let's say the borrower is going to pay you back on time, and then there's zero interest, so that's tzad echad beribos. There's a big chance there won't be ribos, and that is mutter according to that mandama. The sugya that we're dealing with today, we're starting out with, is what we ended off yesterday. Mechila b'tos. Mechila b'tos means you, by mistake, you forgave something. You forgave the extra, whatever it was. So we're holding all the way on the bottom of the Samach Vav Amud Beis. Hold on. Let me just. I want to read this email. Just one email. Dear Belly, good vach and Agidin Zimmer. Mark Duke from Boramwood, from the UK. Your Talmud since Beta. Sharing another kiss from Hashem in today's Daf Yomi that occurred during the Haftorah for those reading from Yecheskel, not Amos. The pasuk reads. So that's like for the Ashkenazim, it's next week. It doesn't really matter. Sephardim read it today. Ashkenazim read it next week. But we're still going to be in Ezer Neshech next week. We're almost. I mean, we have another like 8-9 days left to Ezer Neshech. Was it that hard? I'm serious. It is. I think Hazav was harder, personally. We had many prokim and in Bava Kama that was hard. I don't know. I think it's just a bad rap. Anyway, so it says in Pasuk, Shoichad lokhu b'cha bach leman shvach dom neshech v'tarbis lekachta or lekacht. He says after he talks about neshech and tarbis, great clear warning for the presence of neshech and tarbis while we're learning the paragraph of neshech. Not just about the daf, the yomi, but the moments you're reminded about the daf during your yomi called tov mark. Okay, guy told me in shul today that he started the daf in Bava Kama, I forgot what parak, here in Chicago, and he's in his 40s, and it's the first time he learned Gemara since 8th grade. So he opens up the Gemara, he comes to Elchanan Feinstein's shir, or Elchanan Feinstein, he opens up the Gemara to the parak that he learned in Ari Crown. In walks Rabbi Cohen from Ari Crown and sits down like over there. He says, "There's a kiss from Hashem." Because the first time he learned Gemara in close to 30 years, in walks his Rebbe that taught him that daf over there, and that's the first time. Okay, anyway, you see this all the time. The Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Peretz Leilui Nishmas Zechariah Ben Moshe Leilui Nishmas My Yosef. Peretz Binyomin Rosenfeld for hatzlacha in business and all my endeavours. Peretz Sruly Bernstein. Leilui Nishmas Shraga Feivel Leib Ben Shmuel Avrahom Olav Shalom. Peretz Leilui Nishmas Avigador, Rabbi Yisrael HaKohen, Rabbi Shal Kol Yisrael, Rabbi Avigador Miller, Zechat Lebracha, whose Torah and Mussar continues to spread by Peretz, Chaim, Levin. Yeah, I wanted to talk about him. I guess it's tomorrow, Sunday. Rabbi Avigador Miller, I quote him all the time. I don't know what comes to mind. I just said the story about the Leilui Nishmas story. That's with him, I think. He used to put his head. He used to fill up his sink in his kitchen and put his head in there and wait there for a whole bunch of time. And then he'd come out and he'd say, "Oh, now I can appreciate the air in New York." And he'd complain about all the pollution and this and that. You know what? Without air, without oxygen, it's not so gishmak. Things like that. He thought about the small things, about the teeth. I just mentioned, when was the last time we davened or thanked Hashem about our teeth? Each tooth. When he's older, in his, 80s, 90s, he had all his teeth. Everything that we have, the fingers, that's how his style was to talk about all the small things and everything that the Akash Baruch created in human being. Paras Hayoim, Adir Farbman, Chov Zay Nisan, Leilui Nishmas, my grandfather's 90th Yartzeit, Mordechai ben Yisrael Anshel Avashol. And the MDY headquartered coffee corner for the week. Vladislav Zakharov, and the schut that I finally find a job. Ooh, maybe the Olam here in MDY can help me find a job. But say this, so Rabbi Sai. Really? I thought it's tomorrow. People told me in shul it's tomorrow, but okay. Shabbos. Either way. So we're in both. We're on the end of Shabbos. We're still wearing the tie, and we're already after Shkia Sunday. So Mimon of Shach, we're Yartzeit. Omer Rava. Daf Samach Zayin Amud Aleph. Have you seen the Kameder Rav Nachman? I was sitting in front of Rav Nachman. Uboy lo'isvei oyno. So Rav Nachman is of the opinion that when you have a mechila betos, he later on says, Moidino, the shomet v'achal mafkinim minei. We have a certain mechila betos. We don't take the fruit out. Like we had the story where a person bought fruit, future fruit, davish le'balaylam, and the guy went ahead and he ate. We don't take it out. So says Rava, I have a question. I was going to ask him a bomb question. We're going to talk about it in a second. Va'idik, and Rav Nachman prevented, he realized right away what I was about to ask him. Islanders. He said, I have a terrace from islanders. What's the question? The mechila b'tosi. So if you don't remember, if you weren't part of the shir during Hazav, so we have here, guys buying some, I don't even know that this Tesla exists, but whatever. Goes, I already told you the price is 60,000. Come on, buddy. I know you can give me this for 50 grand. Or no, is like this. If a guy paid 50,000, but it's really worth 60, so then the seller lost a sixth. If he overpaid, so then the buyer, it goes both ways. If you pay a sixth more than the market price or a sixth less, it's either for the buyer or the seller. Okay. So the mechila b'tosi, v'lo have a mechila. You have to give back, especially if it's a drop more than a six. You have to give the whole mechira goes 5 out the window. You have to give it all back. So what about the fact that the buyer didn't know that he's getting overcharged? It's a tos. And we say, lo have a mechila. How come you, Rav Nachman, say it's a mechila? Vaidik, Chazis and Islanders. So then he tells me, I'll bring you a raya from Islanders. What's Islanders? Islanders, Sam, if you want to know, the word Islanders comes from the word isle. So we have like you have a guy that it's Yeshua at work. Islanders is a woman who's like a male ram. She cannot have children. Everything about her physically is off. She doesn't have the capability of having children. So a person who marries an islandess it's a mekach tos. There's no marriage. Harei islandess the mechila b'tosi, v'havi mechila. At the end of the day, it's mechila b'tos. What does that mean? There's some mechila going on. She is Michael, the husband, for different things that he used, fruit, whatever it is, the earnings he had from the nursing home, from the nichse melug, she's Michael. But it's a mistake. It's not a me'enes. So first of all, let's see me'enes. A lot of musagim today. Me'enes is there's a father, a mother, and a brother, and a young girl. The father goes 5, he goes bye-bye. So the mother or the brother, they marry off the daughter, the sister, daughter, and that's Kiddushin D'Rabbanan only. Marry off to Yeshiber, and Yeshiber this Ketana could just break the marriage just by saying she doesn't want to get married. Shalom, shalom. So that's mion is EF. I don't want you. V'hashniya. Shniya is something like this. So this is out of I just wanted to show you what, in Yevamis, this is what the chart looked like in the art scroll. Okay? If you had an art scroll, you had a chart. Yeah. And this is what our chart looked like. Big kids the guys moved. It was more interesting than this. Shneya this is actually a chart of Shneya. Shneya is the secondary relatives, that midiraisa you're allowed to marry, midirabbanan you're not. So these secondary relatives, va'ailanas, and that's what we're talking about now. This woman who can't have children, ein lahem lo ksuba. What does ksuba mean? And this ksuba means they don't have a ksuba. But ksuba also is referring to, in the ksuba it says that there's nichse melug. What does nichse melug mean? A lot of musagim today. So first time in the daf, I feel bad. I mean, I feel good because you're learning a lot of new stuff. But it might be a little overwhelming. But hopefully, you know what this is, just we're reminding you. Nichse melug is when the woman comes into the marriage, let's say, with a nursing home. So her husband could benefit from the nursing home. He takes all the pay raise. He takes all the income from the nursing home. Everything goes to him. And when they get divorced, or if he dies, the nursing home goes right back to her as is. So whatever the price is, if it went down in value, went from $1 million to 600, that's all she gets, 600. So we're talking about islanders here. We're talking about a woman who can't have children. She brings in this nursing home. He benefited for years. He's the big gvir of the city. It turns out he was never married to her. So does he have to pay her back all that money, all that income? The answer is no, she's moichel. So what is that called? Bechila b'tos. There's a mistake going on here. And now she wants the money back. No, you don't get the money back. So you see mechila b'tos is the mechila. And Reb Nachman said it's not a mechila. V'loi peiros. Okay, so all the peiros that he used. V'loi mizoynois. Mizoynois is just referring to, these are all cases of things that, let's say, this is a good one. Sure, get on this guy's case. He's good. Good guy. Oimer voice, he told me today he's coming. So, mizoynois is just, let's say the husband went on a trip. The wife didn't have what to eat. She went ahead and she took out a loan. Remember the story? Maybe officially you remember. There was a guy who told his wife, now I'm remembering. The guy told his wife, he went on a trip, he says, don't worry about it, I spoke to the gvir of the city, he'll take care of you. He went on a trip, so she went, knocked on his door, says, my husband said you're going to take care of me. He says, yeah, Taka, what happened? Remind me. Yeah, he went on a trip. Okay, good. He takes it out, he starts giving her money. And then the husband comes back from his trip, and he sees his wife is not living good. She says, what happened? She says, you told me to go to the gvir. So he goes to the gvir, and the gvir he was known as a guy that's very stingy, that didn't help anybody. It turns out that he wasn't such a guy, and then the husband wanted to pay him, but he didn't want to take the money. Something like he wanted to schus him. Anyway, they went to the entire or something. Fine. So that's what happened here. She went, borrowed money. The husband doesn't have to pay for that chayiv. Why? They're not married now. It was a mistake. The whole marriage was false. She was a shniyah. She was a mima'enes. She's islandess. V'loi blois. Also, the same idea. She comes into the marriage with a bunch of clothing. In those days, clothing was the whole day. He doesn't have to pay for the clothing. So it's a kasha of Nachman. So Rava says v'lohi. No, none of this is okay. Not the question, not the answer. Not my question, not Reb Nachman's answer. Not my question. What about Oina is that somebody was cheated a sixth. He didn't know. You go to the store, they tell you this is the price he paid. So there's a mistake here without knowing. And you have to give it back. So you see that in Mechila B'tal, you have to give back. Why? That's not a good question. There's no yediyah over here. He had no idea that there was Eina. So that doesn't make a difference. That's not a right to our sugya. Over here we're talking about that the person knows. And your raya, Rav Nachman's raya from an islandess doesn't help us. Why? She's a woman, never can't have children. Shidduchim is really, really bad for her. She has a funny voice. She sounds like a man. Her whole body looks, everything is off. So Shidduchim is not good. So she go around telling people, I'm married. I don't know if you noticed. I personally just noticed now in my shul in Mavet Shemesh. I hope they're not listening now because some of my friends are going to get upset. Could be a mamish, like it took me all the. I noticed now these chasanim, they walk around like with a jump in their step. Like their head is a little higher. Like I'm married. I got married. Like none of you guys did it. Oh, we. I just you don't understand. Certain gaiva, like a certain not gaiva. Self-confidence, a certain like nicha. The person that feels good. I once heard this a story, a Meister Shraga, that a Hasidic guy, he wasn't getting married. He was already in his 30s, whatever. So he felt uncomfortable because he would go to shul and he wasn't wearing. He's the only guy not wearing a strammel. His beard started to get a little gray, and this and that. No strammel. So he went to America, told everybody he's getting married in a month. Then he came back from Eretz Yisrael. A whole story where he comes back and he says, "Oh, I got married. I got divorced." So now he can wear a strammel. He's happy to wear. It's a nicha. You feel good that you're married. Okay. Says the Gemara, a Maisa. There's a woman, her name was Navlo. Go ahead and buy a property from my relative. If I go to him, either he won't sell it to me, he'll take a higher price. You go, you get it from me. So, Rabbi Erman, we want to say Shalom Aleichem to your grandfather. No, doesn't he watch? He watches live. Not live. He's going to see it. Your Anikel is here watching, Rabbi Erman. Shalom. So, Zil Zovenli Aram Ekrive. Ozel Zovenlo. So he goes to purchase it. So the seller tells the agent, listen, if I ever come upon money, can I buy the property back? What does he answer? You and this woman that I'm buying it for, your brothers, your relatives, you'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. So the Gemara wants to know, what is this lashon? You'll figure it out. He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He's kind of parav. Again, the seller says, do I have the right to repurchase my house back? I'm desperate for money today, but one day, if I win the lottery, I want to be able to buy the house back. So what does he say? He says, you'll work it out with your relative, with Navla. The buyer is your relative, you work it out. Is that a yes or a no? Or it's a maybe?
What about the arrows, the trees,
and all that? Okay, so we're going to have a whole sugi about that. Omar Rabbi Baravuni wants to know what about the Paris. Kol ad v'navla achei. Omar, if a person says like that, Som chadaite v'loy gomer makni. The seller is excited about this. To the seller, that means deal. Okay, don't worry about it. Your relative will sell it back to you, and therefore he's not completely selling it. Oh, now comes your question. Ara hodra. Okay, he made a deal. He's going to give back the house. He gives it back. Perimai. What about the fruit? So typically, the fruit is a problem with ribbis. So the Gemara says, "Ribbis ksutza have is this considered a doiraisa ribbis? Why? Because the buyer, Navla, is getting back her entire investment. She paid $1 million for the apartment. A field might be a little easier to. She paid $1 million for the field. She got the $1 million back. Plus, for the last 10 years, she benefited from all the fruit. The benefit of the fruit is ribbis, it's interest on top of the $1 million. So could the original owner sue her in Bezdin and recoup all that fruit? Because we know that when it's ribbis ksutza, the iraisa ribbis, you could recoup that all in Bezdin. Perhaps this is only a derabanan ribbis, and you cannot get it back from Bezdin. We're going to see why it's derabanan. Because at the end of the day, ribbis is more in a loan. This wasn't a loan. What happened over here? This was a sale. There's a property purchased, and the money was returned. It's a sale. Very interesting. Think about this. Nagel Maisa. Let's say you buy a car, okay? Buy a car, drive it around for 3 weeks, and it's a lemon. So you give it back. You buy a computer. Buy you don't like it. The store has a policy, you can give it back within 30 days. Use it, you give it back. They give you back all your money, but you had benefit for 2 weeks on somebody's computer. Why is that not ribis? Anybody?
At that point, you own the computer. It's yours.
100%. But what do you're saying good. You're saying we're going to see such a svara in the Gemara that when you own something, perhaps it's not ribis. When you own it, it might not be ribis. We'll see. The Gemara goes into that, but you're saying good. You're saying good.
Is it a Mekach toast?
But nevertheless, you got benefit. You drove around the car. You didn't have to rent a car for 2 weeks in New York. It's $1,000 a week, my friend says. So you got a $2,000 benefit, plus you got your $50,000 back for the camera. Everything. So you got $52,000 back. Why is that not ribis? So okay, so let's see. So I know you should know that in larger items it might be a problem, and in smaller items, Moshe Sternbuch says we're not makbid today. You know, you go to the store, you give back a toy and Shalom Yisrael. So you had a little unknown. But on a larger thing, it might be wrong. Just a quick story. The Marshal's wife was very makbid in Lashon Hara. So one day, the Marshal and his wife were looking out the window, and they see the neighbor next door, who was a known gvir, very wealthy guy. His business was to lend money with ribbis. Jew, lend money with ribbis. So he's walking, the neighbor's walking past the window, and the neighbor goes like this. So there was like some dust that flew out of the guy's coat. So the Marshal said to his wife, that's a vak ribbis. Because he got the coat from ribbis. So she looked at him and she said, what you just said is a vak lashon hara. Says the Gemara. I believe this is only a derabbanon. Again, what's a vak ribbis? Derabbanon. Ribbis ktsutsa is deraisa. Yeah. So now we don't have to be scared of the terms, the terminology. We hear this in 5 years from now. Somebody's talking about ktsutsa. We know ktsutsa is deraisa. Avak. The dust of ribbis means derabbanon. That's all it means. So again, the nafkamir between the rice and the rabbanos, you cannot force somebody to give it back to you in Bezdin. By the way, obviously, hatzlacha, when it comes to ribbis the rabbanon, you should, if you want to be yoitza and everything, you have to give it back. Can't say, Bezdin can't force me. If you want to be a good yid, you have to give it back. I mean, a lot of it could be that we are nichshal here and there once in a while on things like this, like on a computer. We had no idea to even think about it. Now we know. So somebody wakes you up and says, by the way, Rabbi, your whole life you're over in at least a vak ribbis because of this computer stuff, because of this. Let me ask you something. You said it was sold. When I was a bacher, we used to go, not me, but my friends would go to this store like Costco, buy a TV and a VCR for Ben Azmanim, use it for 2 weeks, watch 100 videos on it, VHSs, and then give it back. So it was yours. It was never yours. You never intended it to be yours. So you got all your money back plus free usage of a TV. Man, I'm telling you, people used to do this stuff. You know what I'm talking about.
That might be Gneva, right?
It is Gneva, right? I think it's Gneva, but
it's not ribbis.
No, but it's within the policy. It's in the policy of Costco. You're allowed to do that in Costco,
right.
But it might be ribbis.
Costco knows you can do it.
Doesn't matter, but you got all your money back, plus you got usage of that item. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, but Costco guarantees that if you're unhappy with it.
Yeah.
But here, you weren't unhappy. You were happy with it.
Very happy.
Very happy.
A little bit too happy. Yeah. Okay, I hear. I'm just throwing it out there that it's not enough, not dafka that it's yours and it was sent.
It might be Chol Hashem.
Yeah. Certain stores don't sell to certain communities. Okay. Weiter. Zog the Gemara. And Rav also agrees that this is the Rabbanah ribbis and you cannot pull it out, slip it out with the bezin. Again, every time it says Rabba, over here it doesn't really say it, but it's Rabba that just finished talking, so it's very possible that Abai was talking back to Rabba. Throughout Shas, there's a problem between Rabba and Rabba. So now we're going back to this idea of a mashkin. Very, very simple. It's not a confusing thing. We do this all the time. It's things that a lot of people in this room have done. We take a loan from a bank and we give a collateral, a house as collateral. That's it. I don't have money. I want a loan from a bank. I said, listen, trust me, I'm going to pay you back because here's my house in Yerushalayim, here's my house in Miami, whatever. Here's the house. Now, what about all the fruit that comes off, all the profit that comes off this field that I gave you as collateral? What we just said, we said it's in our case. Again, we had a case where a woman bought property and she used all the fruit. She had fruit, but she made a deal. Her name was Navla. She made a deal with her relative that if he ever comes up with money, he could buy it back from her. And we said that's a case of ribis d'Rabbanan. She got all her money back and she used the fruit. But over there's never a stipulation that she could use the fruit, not use the fruit. She bought the property straight out. There's no, oh, you could use the fruit or can't use the fruit. The guy just asked nicely when he sold it, can I buy it back? There was never a discussion, could Navla use the fruit? Of course you can use the fruit. So that's not ribis ksutza. Ribis ksutza means at the time of a loan, at the time of a sale, we stipulate and we say, at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay me back another $100 on top of this. That's not what happened over there. It turned out after 5 years that there was a problem of ribis. There was fruit that was used there. So maybe that's why over there it's only a d'Rabbanan ribis, because the loy cuts. They never discussed it. It's not ribis ksutza. It wasn't in advance. They didn't know that there's going to be ribis in advance. So in our case, also when you give somebody collateral a field, there's no discussion about the fruit. Over there, by the woman, by Navla, it was a sale. So by a sale, it's only avak ribis, it's only the Rabbanon, because that's not what the Torah said. The Torah said ribis isn't a loan. It wasn't a loan, it was a sale. So maybe over here it's worse because I'm giving you collateral for a loan. I go to the bank. I think it was it, right? We had the bankers here on Friday. We had Louis calling the rules. And we were discussing with them. Is it a smachta, not a smachta, the whole thing? They didn't like the whole smachta thing. We didn't understand why. But the bottom line is, people do this all the time. He says, I do. And he said straight out, sometimes for $1 million loan, I take $2 million collateral. He started telling us because it's very expensive, the lawyer fees and this and the holding. At the end of the day, we only walk away with $1 million out of $2 million. Fine. What?
All the mashkiach fees.
Everything, all the fees. The chsherim for the loans, it's not pashut. So at the end of the day, he said, no, the reason, there's two reasons why when you, in the case with the woman, when she the seller wanted his field back, over there it's only ribis d'Rabbanan. A, because it's a sale, not a loan. B, because it's like cuts, it wasn't determined to begin with, wasn't predetermined what the amount is and if there's going to be ribis at all. So the Gemara says, no, it's because of the reason the late cuts. By us also, there's no, we're running out of time. Fine. So the idea is that by us, even by a loan, since it's not obvious that there's going to be ribis, they didn't discuss it. We don't know how much. The late cuts, it's not ribis. It's not ribis the rest. It's ribis the Rabban. Omer Papi over the Ravina Uvda. Ravina had a case where there was a field that was sold. The choshev. And he said, no, this is a ribis doiraisa. V'choshev apik period the like Rabbi Ravuna. I disagree with you, Rabbi Ravuna. This is ribis ksutza. You said in the beginning that you have the ability to buy the field back. Therefore, everything, all the fruit from the ears, is all ribis, and a ribis doiraisa, and a bezdin could pull it out of you. Omer Marbi Rabbi Yosef Mishmei Derava. Interesting. He takes it out over here. Yeah. There's another gear. Omar Rava Bered Rav Yosef Mishmei Rava. That's one gear. Okay. No, there's a lot of different Ravas. I told you I once counted like 52 Ravas in Shas. If his name is Rava, so it's another one because over here it says Mefurish Mishmei Rava. The Rava, the son of Rav Yosef, said in the name of Rava. Anyways, over here the gear of my Gemara is Mar. What do you guys have? Mar. Okay. So we have two types of very, very simple. there's a place where the borrower could come and chuck you out of the collateral. Yeah? I think today it's like that. Let's say you give the bank, you borrow $1 million from the bank, and you give them a collateral, a house. So at any given time, you can go back to the bank and give them $1 million and take your house back. You don't have to wait to the end of the term of the loan, right? That's how typically it's done. So that's called ba'asra de misalke, at a place that you could get rid of the loan at any given time.
You have the clause for that now.
What?
You need a clause for that, or early payments.
Early payment. Okay.
Otherwise they put their own fees on
Yeah. What is it called? Those fees?
it. Payments.
Prepayment penalty.
Prepayment penalty. It has another thing. You know what it's called? Okay. Something else. Like a fancy word. Anyway. Zayik Yisrael Rebbe Shua. Oh. Now you have Astro Leilui Nishmas My, a place that they can never get rid of you until the end of the term. So what's the nafkamina? Nafkamina is as follows. In a place where it's like this, that you can't get rid of the guy, then it's considered that guy's. He bought it. For 5 years, for the term of the loan, it's his 100%. Nobody can take him out of there. So it's his. So if it's his, all the fruit that he's eating is not ribbis. It's his.
So you're looking at the moment.
I could buy your house legally for 5 years, and after 5 years, it's not mine anymore. I don't know. People buy houses for 99 years. Yeah? But for 99 years, it's mine. There's Yerusha, there's this, that, the whole thing, it's mine 100%. I can knock it down, I can do this, whatever I want to do, it's mine. So the guy has a term, it's a 5-year loan, a 3-year loan, a 100-year loan, and they got a collateral, and it's in a place where I cannot prepay, and I cannot kick you out of there. So it's the guy's 100%. So there's no ribbis. But if it's a place like this that I can get thrown out at any given time, so it's not mine really. It's fake. So me eating fruit there is ribbis. It's on top of the loan that I'm going to get back paid. I'm going to get paid 100%. I'm getting. So there's a little way out of this, and that is nachyasa. If I have to chop off the loan a little bit every single year, I have to take off because I have the right to eat the fruit. Now it's not going to match up to the fruit. I could eat $1 million worth of fruit. We're going to take off the loan $10. But at the end of the day, I'm paying for my right to eat the fruit. So it's a way out of it.
The word you're looking for was curtailment.
No. I feel like it is. Whatever. There's a. If you want to know, there's a certain maybe in larger loans, if you prepay it early, you pay crazy amount. The closer it gets to the term, the lower the amount. The feesman. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Fine. The feesman. Anyway, fine. Yeah, look up that word. Now tell me what that means. Says the Gemara. If it's in a place, so this is not like a sale. It's a place where you get thrown out, so you don't really own it. If the guy, the lender ate fruit for the amount of the entire loan, we get rid of him. Like us, yeah, on Pesach, we had a shtickle too much. We're all achal tfeis. If he ate more than the loan, just remind us now, this Motzei Shabbos, this is the famous mice that this kid was very heavy. They couldn't get him under control, going to all the psychologists and doctors. So they went to Chaim Kidnovations. He says, check the mezuzah or whatever. They found it said in the mezuzah, instead of v'chalta v'savata, it said v'chalta v'chalta. It's like, oh, that's fine. So anything above the loan, that's already it's ribbis, it's avak ribbis. It's only the rabbanon. We can't take it out of him. We can't force him to pay it back. So again, the guy takes $1 million loan. He ate 1.2 million of fruit. So the $1 million loan is wiped out. The $200,000 we can't take out of him. But what if he had 2 loans with this bank? 2 $1 million loans. One is wiped out. Now I want to take the $200,000 from this loan, from the collateral, and apply it to the second loan. No, you can't apply from loan to loan. Ubdi Asmo. I didn't even know. I don't want to forget to say this. I could have said it before. I could say it later. It's just interesting. Like if a guy gives you a Mishlech Manas, sends a Mishlech Manas, says, thank you so much for the unbelievable loan you gave me. Yeah? Let's say he didn't go to Daf Yomi. He doesn't know it's also. Thank you for the loan. Thank you, Mamish, for the loan. Big giant Shalach Manas. Lahalacha, you could, the guy that sent the Shalach Manas could deduct the Shalach Manas from the loan. That's what we're talking about over here. Taking, because it's avak ribis. It's ribis, whatever. It's before he could deduct the Shalach Manas from the loan. You hear what's going on? I'm just saying things like that. Things that could be Negel Maises does.
Isn't there a place in the Gemara where mentions you can't even give a guy a special?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So
We mentioned it.
How do you translate that into financial?
No, so that's not financial. That's already. And then it's more than that. It's pre. Let's say you want to take a loan from Louis Column, so you start sending him Shalchmana stuff, and then half a year later you knock. Oh, it's me. So that's Ribis Keduma. These are halachas we're going to get to Beis Rishon. So we mentioned them. We had them already. I was going to ask them, Mr. Alki. I was sure. Sorry, where are we? Ubedi asked me, but at the same case that happened to the young Yisrael under Bar Mitzvah, if he eats he ate fruit, the amount of the loan, we get rid of it. We do take the extra ribbis out. Why? And we can apply the extra ribbis to another loan. Why? So Rashi says over here, let me just see if I have it. Here. Rashi says this Lashon, Bezdin Avim Shel Yisayim. The Bezdin happens to be the father of the Yisayim, and they are going to tell the person, don't eat the fruit. And if you do eat the fruit, now you become a Ganav, and now if you're a Ganav, I can take it out in Bezdin. That's why I can take it out in Bezdin. Once you already established that the extra amount, the extra fruit, is considered the Rabban Ribis, that's why I can't take it out in Bezdin. So then the original amount is also of the Rabban Ribis, and I can't take it out. So then I can't use all the fruit that he ate and say that will apply it towards the loan. How can you do that? That's forcing a guy to pay money on the Rabban Ribis. Once you establish that we're talking about the Rabban Ribis, not the Reis Ribis, so how in the world could you say that the fruit that he ate, which is the Rabban Ribis, should be applied towards the loan? That's something that only Bezdin can do, and Bezdin doesn't deal with the Rabban Ribis. So if you want him to leave, if you want, you have to pay him. You have to pay the Malva. My time is it's only, we see from here that it's only the Rabban Ribis. And Bezdin has no, they don't get involved with the Rabban Ribis. Says the Gemara over Rav Ashi, Rav Ashi said no. The younger Yisayim are considered like older Yisayim. In other words, we don't take the extra and give them. We don't do anything. We don't say, Bezdin is their father. Daf Yomi is sponsored by Fischl from Fischl Mitzvah Made in honor of the Levin for sponsoring Sfarim for the daily Ner Talmud learning, and by Kidnovations in honor of my Uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman and his Chus Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga. Them Shomim the Fischl Lifnei 4 Shanim uchlid. I'm just saying to them. uchlid שלהפוך את הדף צריכים לשלם $1,000. מישהו רוצה להגיד את השם שלו כאן. הנה למשל בחודש הזה יש לנו 3. אז יש כאן לפחות $3,000, כי היה מחלוקת, איך אומרים את זה, להפוך את הדף או להפוך את העמוד, בקיצור. הוא הגיע מהרעיון הזה והוא הביא הרבה כסף, על ידי זה, על ידי אחרים, ל-MDY. עומר רובה בריידר רב יוסף, משמי דרוב, listen the name of the Rav. המשכנתה בעשו the Misalki. So now, it sounds complicated, our boys say these are the easiest things. Are you still struggling here? It's easy. Serious.
Say hello to all the 15 guys. Say hello to 15 guys in the base measures right now.
In the live? They're live in the base measures.
15 guys right
Why? It's already 7:15 in the morning? Wow. Shalom Aleichem, all you guys in MDY, thank you for being there. Be'ez Hashem, I'll see you soon. Okay, so so I gotta hurry up. What time is it in Eretz Yisrael?
7:27.
So we'll be done before Shacharis over there. Okay, great. So maybe they were watching it on the delay. We'll see. Okay. So we discussed this. This is easy. Again, a guy wants a loan from a bank. He gives a collateral that's a mashkanta. If he wants to eat the fruit from this field, it's ribis. So the way he could do it is if he deducts, if the lender deducts, the bank, a little bit, mamish a little bit. It's a trick. It's a little bit of a workaround. If the bank says, you know what, because you allow the bank, you allow the lender to eat all this fruit, we are going to give you a reduction on your loan. Every year, your loan goes down a little bit. We're going to pay down the principal a little bit. That's an achyasa, and then it's okay. However, we got to see Rashi inside. Rashi did Mamas with Tzur Rabbanon, 9 lines down. Shetzorach liyashid rochav. Talmid Chacham has to make his way straight. Ulis kadesh af b'muterloi. Mamish parshas Kedoshim, Yonah D'Yoyma, right? The famous Ramban that Talmid Chacham you have to be mekadesh yourself in even things that are mutter to you. So yes, a regular person is mutter to use this trick. Talmid Chacham not. Why not? He says beautiful. People will look at a Talmid Chacham and say, "Oh, you're allowed to take it easy with Isurim afilu ben achyasa nami lo neichel." So therefore, a Talmid Chacham should not eat and not use this fruit, even if you're going to do the trick of nachyasa. So how is he going to do it then? El b'may neichel. How's the Talmid Chacham going to get around it? Says Gemara b'kitzutza. We're going to explain what that means. It means that there's a limit to the amount of time that he could use the fruit. And we're going to see what that means. That's good if you say that kitzutza is something that's permitted. What could he do? What could a Talmid Chacham do? The itmar. So there is a way around that also. There is a way for a Talmid Chacham to benefit from, again, the Talmid Chacham is a wealthy guy. Let's say he's Reb Papi, has a lot of money. He lent the money and he took a collateral, a field. Could he use the fruit or not? He wants to use the fruit. What should he do? We just said he shouldn't do it bin achyasa, just be a little bit of reduction. That's not enough for a Talmid Chacham. So what do? The itmar, we learned. Kitzutza, pligi barav v'ravino, chadama kitzutza sharia, v'chadama kitzutza asira. Hey, chidama kitzutza. One says mutzah, one says, what is it? Domarlei ad chomesh shnin achil neloch b'loi nachyasa. They make a deal. It's a 10-year deal. 5 years, the Talmid Chacham is going to eat fruit all day long. And after 5 years, I'm going to deduct from the loan the value of all the fruit. You hear what's going on here? What is that called in English? It could be like an artist, like a sharecropper. We're partners. 5 years me, 5 years you. So we're partners. If we're partners, then it's not ribis anymore. That's one way that. So we have a it's machlokes whether you're allowed to do it. So according to one man it works, according to another man it doesn't work. So what's the Talmid Chacham going to do? There's another lashon that says. Let's see if I can get to it. There's another lashon that says that called beloy nachyasa. If you don't deduct a little bit every year, also there's no way around this. Okay, so let me just see it again. According to the first lashon, you could get away without nachyasa, and according to the second lashon, you need nachyasa. Says Gemara, man the osar b'kamaiso. The man says that without nachyasa, it's also shari b'vasraisa. If you take out man the osar b'kamaiso shari b'vasraisa, That's without. If you say without nachyasa, it's also okay. But if you take off a little bit every year, then it's okay. But manda also b'basraisa. So here's the problem. According to the mandama, that says that even when you take off a little bit every year, it's also how's the Talmid Chacham going to use this field? What's the trick? Says Gemara, Shari kimashkanta desura. So now there's a numos to Rabbi say, why not? Oops, I did something funny. Okay, mashkanta desura. Mashkanta desura means the kosvi ba. It's mefurish in the shtar. That's the mashkanta desura that what? Hachi b'mishlam shnaya yilein tepuk aro da b'loy kesef like saf. Basically, there's a deduction. A yearly deduction, but we don't have to go into the year. We're not going to discuss the yearly deduction. At the end of the term, there's no money involved. The borrower doesn't have to pay back anything. I'm giving you this field as collateral. You, Talmid Chacham, use the field for 5 years, and then I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you a thing. In that case, it's mutter. That's called mashkanta desur. They both say, "Hi mashkanta, ba'asr the misalki." So listen to this. Rabbi said 3 different things could happen here. Again, you have a asr the misalki, asr the lo misalki. Is it simple? In a play, it's in your head. It's mamish from the easiest sugyas. You have a place that you cannot prepay. If you can't prepay, Rabbi Sarah, what is it? It's like a sale. It's yours 100%. And you have a place that you could prepay. So let me ask you: in a place that you cannot prepay, does a b'char get? You have a b'char, not you. The malva has a b'char and he dies. The malva dies. Does the b'char get part of that field, the collateral? Does he get a double?
No, it could be even with collateral.
Why not? Again, why?
You get the same share as the other brother.
Why? He's a b'char. He gets two shares of everything. And this field is below misalki. Nobody can take him out of the field. He's mamish like an owner. So if he's mamish like an owner, he should get 2 parts. So that's all the Gemara says here. Next. But in a place that you could remove him, then it's not it. So he doesn't get 2 parts. And there's other 2 similar halachas. That what? In a place that you could get rid of the guy. It's not considered his. So it's not considered his. If he owes money to somebody else, this big lender owes money to other people. They can't take this field. It's not his. And a b'char can't take 2 parts. Very interesting, by the way. Stop. It's takshivu kan mashu ptzatza. The Goyen's brother, Reb Avrahom, he says that in the word b'char, you see that a b'char takes 2 parts. How? Because how do you spell b'char? Beis chaf reish. Beis is 2 times 1. Chaf is 2 times 10. And reish is 2 times 100. In other words, all the main numbers, 1, 10, and 100. Bechar means 2 times. Nice. I thought it was a nice.
It's always written closer.
Not always, but a lot of times. With the chaylim. Anyway, so the famous, in Shemitah, at the end of Shemitah, if you don't write a prusbul nowadays, the Shemitah gets rid of all loans. It's not considered as if he got paid. So if it's not considered, if it's considered he got paid with this field, then Shemitah cannot do anything about it. But if it's not considered he got paid with the field, then Shemitah will destroy the loan. We'll get rid of the loan. Uba and now the Gemara just repeats. This is mamish halacha. In a place where there's a prepayment penalty or you can never prepay, so then it's considered the lenders. This field is considered lenders. Therefore, then if that lender owes money to somebody else, that creditor could come and grab the field. And a b'char could grab his 2 parts. And Shemitah cannot destroy the loan because it's as if he got paid with this field, and this field is in his possession. Again, we're just going through this misalki business. And if a person has collateral, but the borrower could get rid of the collateral at any given time, whenever he feels like, he just pay off the loan and take back his field. Misalkele avafilu mitamed da abudya. Oh, I have a geschmack picture here. Abudya is just one of these sheets that they would put underneath the. I guess I didn't know that they did this, but these palm trees are very, very tall. So how are you going to get up there? Today we have machines and things. So you just wait for the dates to fall down. So how do you collect them? You put a sheet out there. Now the sheet, it doesn't make a kinyan for you if it's in a basket.
That was some of the certain places. I remember you had something on the reed. You can't take it to your neighbor. The people own it. This guy up there picking the fruit from the tree, it falls down.
No. We're talking about that these palm trees were given to him as collateral. Now, what happened was the guy comes back one day and says, "Oh, I want to pay back my loan. Give me what about the dates that fell off the tree?" So if he made a kinyan with it, he made a hagbah, they were in a basket and he lifted it up, then there is. But if they just landed on his own blanket is not a kinyan. Even though it's on top of the blanket. If he picked it up in a basket, it says, what about the fact is, we didn't learn yet. We spoke about it. But the main thing is in Bava Metzia that if you have a blanket in the property of it's owned by the person trying to make the kinyan, but it's in the reshus moicher, it's in the property of the seller. You could be kind of the dates with your blanket, even though you didn't lift it up. It's your kli and it fell into your kli. Says Gemara Pshita, one pashta halacha b'asher. What about a place where the guy could pay back his loan whenever he wants, take back the collateral? But the lender said, even though this neighborhood in Chicago, this is what we do, we could prepay whenever we want. But the lender said, I'm only going to give you the loan on condition that you don't prepay. A condition, you can make any condition you want when it comes to mumminess. I can make a condition, you stay on your head for 20 hours straight. I'm making a condition, you cannot prepay. So it's a deal. Deal's a deal. But what about in a place he's trying to be a nice guy? It's in Bet Shemesh. And in Bet Shemesh, you cannot prepay. And he says, I will let you prepay. So it was just words. Do I have to make a kinyan to make his words real or not? Typically, you can be moichel, but I can't be moichel something that I already own. I can't take something I own. I can't be moichel my house to you. I own it. The only way I can do it, I have to convey it to you with a kinyan. I can't just say words. If I'm making a tonight, I could say with words. But over here, it's already mine. How can I take it away from myself just with words? Mechila works over here. If she's buried in a video about it, you do have to. It's machlekes. You do have to make a kinyan. Omar, so here's a very interesting halacha. I don't expect anybody to remember this. A very interesting halacha. If I could prepay the loan, says the Gemara, I don't have to prepay. All I need to do is say, I am going to prepay. Today, I'm going to the bank right now. I'm coming back in an hour. So if it's within 24 hours, whatever, you're done. You can't start picking fruit real quickly as he goes to the bank. Once he says he's going to pay today, that's it. You're locked. No more fruit. Interesting, no? He didn't pay. He said he's going to pay. Too bad. That's it. It's over. I'm going to look. I'm going to go to Gemachim now. That's too much. No. Ravina Omar Ochil. Omar Zutra between Ravina and Marzutra. One last thing. And the halacha is you cannot eat once he says he's going to get the fruit, even if he has to be matriach and go to Gemachim. One more line here. Rav Kana Rav Ravashi lo yachle ben achios. They were makbid not to eat. When we said on top of the Amud that a Talmid Chacham should be makbid, even if you pay every year a little bit, you shouldn't eat from the fruit. Ravina ochel ben achios. As Taisvus, how did Ravina do it? You said the Talmid Chacham shouldn't. Says Taisvus, you're not going to believe this. Huh? Chaim says Taisvus, and with this we're finished. Ravina didn't consider himself a Talmid Chacham. You believe what's going on there? Ravina, the one who wrote the Shas, I was saying today, everybody's Talmid Chacham. They go with big frock, a hat, this, that. We're all Talmid Chacham. Ravina didn't consider himself. I'm serious. Look at Tyson. He didn't consider himself a Talmid Chacham. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. Gewaldige week. Tomorrow, Bezer Hashem at 8:00.